more representative of actual things that we would be doing. So we did. We maintain a 10-year capital plan. I've got the whole plan here, but it is also available online at the City of Tyler website. You can see here that this plan is broken down by department. So we have the projects that we need for the water distribution on a separate list from the projects we need for water treatment, wastewater collection, wastewater treatment, and so forth. That's the total project, 10-year capital improvement plan. We have 98 identified projects on our current 10-year capital improvement plan that total $73.4 million. If you go back to those maps that I showed you and you look at what we did over the last 10 years, we spent approximately that over the last 10 years. We anticipate spending that as we go forward, because maintaining and operating a water and wastewater collection system is an ongoing, continuous process. On this plan, we have identified 10 Texas Commission on Environmental Quality regulatory projects that total $14.3 million, and there are also 12 EPA-related regulatory projects totaling over $13 million. Those are projects that have schedules. The TCEQ projects are associated with the water system, the potable water system, and the EPA regulatory projects are related to the wastewater system. How do we prioritize these projects when we have a list that goes out and has that many projects on it? We sat down on a quarterly basis with the department leaders in Tyler Water Utilities, the people who are actually the field, what I call the field commanders, out doing the operations, keeping the system up, maintaining the system, keeping the plants running. And we go through this project list and we review it from the following criteria. First and foremost, we look at regulatory compliance to ensure that we are protecting the health and safety of the public. So that is, of course, the most critical thing we do, is address regulatory compliance. The second thing we'll look at is available funding. Is there currently funding available? And if not, when would funding be available? And we may take a lower cost project and move it up a few years and move a more expensive one out just to be able to manage the funding of the projects. We'll also look at new service, the extension of lines, to see if we can have the opportunity and what it's going to do with regards to expanding the customer base, as well as providing service to areas that may not have service today. And then last but not least, we look at levelized expenditures. We try to maintain a level expenditure annually with regards to our capital improvements, and that helps us maintain a rate, a kind of a level rate structure. You don't see peaks and valleys, extreme peaks and valleys in our rate structure for what we charge for water and wastewater services. Tyler Water Utilities has a two-part rate structure. The first part is a minimum charge. This is based upon your meter size and includes 2,000 gallons of water, but it is paid whether you use any water or not. This is a minimum charge, a meter charge, whatever you want to call it. It's collected monthly, and right now it generates about somewhere between 18 and 20% of our revenue. The second part of our rate is a volumetric rate. Once you pass the 2,000 gallons consumption, we charge for water and wastewater on a 1,000-gallon incremental basis, and we utilize a declining block rate because of the availability of water that we have and the ample supply. We're able to provide water in such a way that the more that is consumed, the less you will pay for it. We also cap our residential sanitary sewer charges at 10,000 gallons. This is how we address the variation between normal domestic usage and the increased summer residential irrigation usage, so that you don't pay sewer on your irrigation water. Rate increases is something that we do on a regular basis. This is a list of the rate increases that we have done since 2006 over the last 10 years. I think there are 7 total rate increases on here. All of them are single-digit percentage rate increases. That's something unique to us. Most cities do have situations where they have to do double-digit rate increases, and that goes back to that levelized expenditure that I was speaking about. That by managing that, we're able to do a better job on controlling the increases that we see. If you look at these, most of these rate increases are consistent both in water and sewer across the board. Like in 2007, it was a 7% increase. In 2010, it was a 6% increase. Except for years 13 and 14. If you look at those, they're skewed more towards the wastewater system. Prior to 2013, the wastewater system was being subsidized by the water revenue. By making these offsetting rate increases as we did, 7 versus 2 in 13, and just a 5% sewer only increase in 2014, we were able to make sanitary sewer wastewater system self-supporting. Now, in 2014, over the past couple of years, we have seen some shortfalls in our revenue based on the revenue projections that were used for the creation of our budget. In 2014, we incurred a $1.4 million revenue shortfall on water sales and treatment of wastewater. And right now, today, we're estimating that in 2015, we will have a $2.7 million shortfall in our revenue. We're able to, I need to say right front that we're able to manage that by adjusting capital projects, delaying the start of capital projects, pushing capital projects off, and also tightening our belts, looking at our operation, forecasting our expenditures on a monthly basis so that we're managing the money that we do bring in the most efficient manner to ensure that we can meet the needs of the citizens of Thailand. The revenue shortfalls are occurring though, despite the rate increases that we've had because of reduced volumetric sales. As you all are aware, over the last couple of years, we have had some unique rain patterns. This year, we had an unusually high amount of rain up through July. So we're still receiving rain. If you go back and look at 2014, the amount of rain that we received was not unusual. We were just a few inches off of our normal annual rainfall. But what made 2014 unique was the distribution pattern of that rainfall. We're going to get to a chart in a minute to show where we got 6 inches in July in 2014. What we saw in 2014 was rainfall patterns where we were receiving a measurable rain event about every 7 to 10 days. That is an outstanding way to maintain your landscaping, water your garden. That offsets to the utility in that where we're anticipating selling water for that purpose, we didn't sell it. So our reduced sales are due to the timely and excessive rains and the elasticity of that demand that's associated with the volumetric usage. These shortfalls are putting extreme pressure on Tyler Water Utilities with our cash position. We did build up cash reserves through the years, through the drought years that we've experienced here recently. But as I said earlier, we took $6.5 million of our cash reserves and made the improvements to Lake Tyler Dam. At the time we were doing it, it was more proactive. We identified issues that were not causing structural problems with the dam, but we were proactive and went ahead and fixed them at the cost of $10 million. The good thing we did, the rains that we received between January and July of 2015 could have had a major impact on Lake Tyler Dam had we not perform the rehabilitation that we did. We'll never know whether it would or wouldn't have, but the potential was there that it could have caused a catastrophic issue with the Lake Tyler Dam. Fortunately, we had moved forward with the project in a proactive manner and ensured that nothing happened to the dam. This is a slide that shows, compares our budgeted to actual revenues for both 2014 and 2015. You can see how we lay it out and we compare it to rainfall here. The one which would be on your left is the 2014 and shows the $1.4 million shortfall, $1.45 million shortfall. The one on the right is the 2015 projections. The numbers through July are actual revenue numbers that we have seen. For the purposes of projecting where we're going to be, we have made the assumption that we would sell the amount of water that we had originally projected and forecasted for both August and September. And based upon meeting budget, forecasted budget for revenue in those 2 months, we will still be $2.7 million short on revenue. Again, we are adjusting capital projects, adjusting operations to address that. You would think that, or it would appear that if our water sales are down, then our water production would be down. And we would have big savings in our chemical costs for treating water, as well as our power costs for pumping water. While there is some offset, it's not really that much, because when our volumetric usage goes down, we have to increase the amount of flushing we do to ensure the quality level of the water. And I know that a lot of y'all have noticed over the last 2 years, a lot of fire hydrants running for extended periods of time. That is the reason we